boys and girls. Welcome to the industry building. Today we're going to talk about coal mining, what it was like to be a coal miner a long, long time ago. This is coal, and this is what the men went into the mine to get. It would have been wonderful if they could just walk in that coal mine and lay it on the floor of the mine with all this coal, and they could just pick it up, put it in a wagon, and let the mules pull the wagons out of the coal mine. But it wasn't that easy. They had to work really, really hard. They had to dig that coal out. And so it was very, very hard work. But this was their job: go in the mine and get the coal. Now, let's talk about a coal miner that lived a long, long time ago, 60, 70, 80 years ago. This was a man that would get up in the morning and get dressed. He didn't have a uniform to wear. He wore his clothes into the mine. But he did have something special, and that was his hat. The hat was special because in the very front there was a light. It's dark in a coal mine, and so he had to have light. And if you have a hat with a light, that means you can use both hands in the coal mine, whether it's digging out that coal or lifting those big chunks of coal and putting them in the wagon. So the light, his hat, was very, very important. And then he had something else that he took with him every day, and that was his lunchbox. This is a coal miner's lunchbox. It comes apart. You take the lid off. You could turn that over and use that as your dinner plate. And then this comes apart. In the bottom of this bucket, he could put something cold to drink. You're going to get so thirsty working in that coal mine. And then in here, he would put his food, whatever he had. Now, this was before fast food, no McDonald's, Wendy's, or anything like that. So he took whatever he had. A few years ago, a man came out here to the farm to see our coal mine. And he was probably 90 years old when I met him. He'd been a coal miner. He got so excited when he saw this bucket because he had a lunch bucket just like this. And you know what he told me he took in his lunch every day? Apple peelings. Not the apple. He said his wife peeled the apple and put the peelings in here, and that's what he took for his lunch. When he got home that night, he's probably going to have biscuits and fried apples. But for his lunch, he took apple peelings. So you took whatever you had. It goes all back together, and you put the lid on, and now he's ready to go to work. He gets to the coal mine, he goes in, he sets his lunch bucket down, and he starts to work. And he's digging away at that coal, and then when lunchtime comes, you don't get to leave the coal mine. No, there's your lunch right here. You just stop work, eat your lunch, right back on the job. Even if you need to go to the bathroom, you're not leaving that coal mine. There are abandoned areas in the mine. That's the bathroom. Then everybody back on the job. Nobody's leaving all day long. At the end of the day, he would come out of that coal mine. He would be covered in dust, coal dust. He'd go home and wash all that off, eat his dinner, fall in the bed exhausted, get up the next day, do the same thing all over again. Life was very hard for these coal miners. Boys, by the time they were in the 3rd grade, started working in the mines right along with the men. But coal miners were superstitious. They thought that if a girl went in the coal mine, that would bring them bad luck. So because they were superstitious, it kept the women out of the mines. Just the men and boys worked the mines. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to go in the coal mine. When we go in, there are 3 windows. I want you to look in each window, see what's going on, and then we'll come out over here at the exit, and then I'll need you to sit down, and we're going to talk about some of the things that you're going to see in that coal mine. But I got to tell you one more thing. These coal miners working in the coal mines, they couldn't go in there and stand up straight and tall and dig out that coal and lift that coal. No, you're squeezing into areas that are very small. So some of these men were sitting on the ground, some on their knees. Most worked stooped over all day long. We have some pictures up here. This is an old coal mine in West Virginia. And in one of the pictures, there's a coal miner, and he's laying on the floor of the coal mine, not taking a nap. That's the only way he can get to the coal, is lay down flat on the floor of that coal mine. So when you go in this coal mine, you can't go in standing up straight and tall either. When you start into the mine, you're going to see a tassel, a rope hanging down. When you see that rope, that means stuck. Get down. look in the first window, see what's going on. Then go to the next window, look in there and see what's going on, but don't stand up straight and tall because you'll bump your head. Go to the third window, look in there and see what's going on, but don't stand up straight and tall, you'll bump your head. And then when you start to come out of the coal mine, you're going to see another rope, another tassel. Wait until you go underneath that tassel. Then you can stand up straight and tall and just sit down, and we're going to talk about what you see. Are you ready to go in the mine? All right, single file, straight line. Let's head into the coal mine. All right, let's go in the coal mine. All right, we're going to go right in here. Be sure and watch your head, and then look in each window because we're going to talk about some of these things. That very first window, there's a coal miner there, and he has a bird cage with a canary. Now, canaries are teeny tiny birds. They love to sing. And so now here's this coal miner. He's going in the coal mine. He's got his hat on. He's got his lunch, and now he's got a bird cage. He goes in. He sets the lunch down, puts the canary down, and he starts to work. Now, everything's going fine. He's digging away at that coal, and the canary's singing, and everything's just fine until that canary stops singing. When that canary stops singing, that coal miner knows, get out. Get out of the coal mine right now, because poison gas is coming into the mine. It would be wonderful if poison gas was red, green, blue, yellow. You could see it, or even if you could smell it, that would help, but you can't. And a long, long time ago, this was their alarm system. This was all they had, the canary. Now, another animal friend to the coal miner, mice and rats. Mice and rats, they're always in coal mines in a lot of the abandoned areas. So now here's this coal miner. He's working away. The canary's singing. Everything's going just fine. And then he hears running. Run, 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 run. Mice, rats, running in the coal mine. And that coal miner knows, get out. Not because of poison gas, the canary's just fine. But mice and rats, they can tell, they can sense. Maybe the earth just barely shakes, just a little tremor. That could mean that that coal mine's getting ready to collapse, a cave-in. And if the mice and rats are running and trying to get out of the coal mine, that coal miner knew he better be right behind them. And so those were the alarm systems they had a long, long time ago. That was it. Another thing with the coal miners, they didn't own the coal mine. And so a company owned the mine. And so sometimes the company would build little houses, and a coal miner's family could live in that house. And it would be like it would be like a camp. And so you and your family might live in one house. Right next door, there'd be another house. On and on and on. So all the coal miners and their family had a place to live. You didn't live there for free. You had to pay the coal company rent to live in that house. And then the coal company, they had a doctor. You probably wouldn't have been able to afford a doctor anyway, but in the coal camp, everybody in the family saw this doctor. Remember I told you earlier about the coal miner coming out of the coal mine covered in dust, going home and washing all that off? Well, that was great, but you know what? Every day when he was washing all that dust off, he'd been breathing all that dust in. Coal miners got something called black lung, all that dust on their lungs. And so maybe this coal miner, he would go to the company doctor and he would give him some medicine and he would try to help him. But this was long before you didn't have sick days, days off, anything like that. And if you didn't work, you didn't get paid. So coal miners worked when they were hurt. Coal miners worked when they were sick. Because how long do you think they're going to let you live in that house with your family if you're not even working in the coal mines? You're just there in the house. And so they would work even when they were sick. So now you've got the coal company owns the house that you live in. They have a doctor that you will see. And then they had a store, a company store. Who do you think set the prices at the company store? Yeah, the coal company. So if they wanted to charge just a little bit more, they could, because you have to eat. You have to live. And so, one more thing. A lot of these coal miners in these mining camps, they did not get paid in real money. They got paid in special money called scrip. And in our case here, we have a whole display of scrip. Now, the thing about scrip, it was only good at one store, the company store. The company store where you lived, where you worked. Maybe you had relatives and you went to visit them and they were in a mining camp somewhere else. Your money's no good there. Your script's not any good. And so it was hard for coal miners to save, to get ahead, all those kinds of things. So many years went by. And in West Virginia, they called them wars, mining wars. Coal miners started fighting with these owners and operators because they didn't like how things were. And so after many, many years, things began to change. Today, we'd probably say it's 100% better than it was years ago. Today, you can live wherever you want to live and be a coal miner. You can shop wherever you want to shop, see any doctor you want to see, and you get paid with real money. So all of that's changed. Today, third and fourth grade boys, they don't work in coal mines. There are laws against that. But ladies, if someday after you finish school you want to be a coal miner, there are ladies that work in the coal mines today. Today they don't have to take in the canary or listen for the mice and rats. The coal mine, there are alarm systems in the coal mine. And today, instead of wearing their own clothes, they have a nice uniform like this guy right here. Now notice he still has a hat with a light. It's still dark in the coal mine. But look, he has goggles for his safety glasses. He has earplugs. And then he has this really cool belt. And he can hang so many things on that belt to keep him safe in the coal mine. One of the things that a coal miner, part of his uniform every day, have you ever been to the doctor or the dentist and he has that mask over his face? Coal miners are supposed to wear a mask just like that. That's to keep them from breathing that dust in and getting black lung. And then he has another mask that is very special because it has air, good air in it. So let's say he's working in the coal mines, the alarm sounds, beep, 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 beep. Uh-oh, poison gas in the coal mine. He can get his good mask out, put it on, breathe the good air, and hopefully get out of the coal mine. But what if he's on his way out and he's breathing the good air? Uh-oh, it's blocked. There's been some kind of an explosion or something, and he can't get out. In coal mines today, they have safety stations. It's like a giant camper or a trailer, and they put it in the coal mine, and they just leave it there. So there might be a trailer over here, and maybe if there are coal miners working way on back, there'd be another camper, a trailer, or safety station there. So now when the alarm sounds, beep, 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 get the mask, put it on, breathe the good air. Uh-oh, I can't get out. But I can climb inside that safety station and close the doors. It'll hold about 12 to 14 people, so hopefully you're not going to be in there by yourself. And then inside that safety station, good air to breathe, water to drink, food to eat, and even a bathroom. Because you can stay inside that safety station for several days and wait to be rescued. Can't open the doors and go back out, but you can stay inside and wait to be rescued. So that makes it a lot better than it used to be. But even with all of that, we know that being a coal miner is hard work and dangerous work. But I'm glad there are men and women that are willing to be coal miners, because you know what? I like the lights on in here, and the energy we get from coal keeps those lights on. Now we're going to go back in the coal mine one more time. This time we're going to go in and you're going to sit down. And then I want you to take your hand and just put it out in front of you just like this. Not up against your nose, just out like this. And then when everybody's ready, I'm going to turn off the light. I just turn it off and then right back on. But that way you can see how dark it would be in that coal mine if the light goes out. All right, let's head in and sit down and we'll turn out the light. Boys and girls, darkness is the enemy of a coal miner. When that light goes out, you can't even see your hand in front of your face. Now, what if that coal miner says, oh, I come in here every day. I think I know how to get out of here. So he starts on he gets up and he starts trying to go out. But when you can't even see your hand in front of your face, there's not even one teeny tiny speck of light, he could get all turned around. And instead of going out of the coal mine, he could be going deeper in the mine. He doesn't know what's back in there. It could drop off. There could be water back in. Who knows? And so if he had a lantern, he would light that. If not, he would stay right there and wait to be rescued by other coal miners with light, because darkness was his enemy.